Have you ever had that feeling that your clothes kind of have a mind of their own? Well, what if they actually do? We're about to dive into some really incredible design research that completely flips the script on how we see the things we wear every single day. Okay, let's just start with this quote from the source material. I know, it sounds a little philosophical, right? But it perfectly captures the core idea here. The idea that our clothes aren't just empty shells. They carry the imprint of our bodies, our movements, our memories. They are never really truly separate from us. Let's make this real for a second. You know that feeling you take off a sweater and the cuffs are all stretched out? That isn't just the fabric losing its shape. It's a physical record of your day. It's a memory of all the times you pushed up your sleeves while you were working or washing your hands or just thinking. Or how about this classic scenario? You put on a crisp white shirt and boom, suddenly your lunch options are different. Yeah, no spaghetti bolognese for you today. That shirt is actively influencing your decisions. It's not just a passive thing, it's a participant in your life, totally shaping your behavior. It's such a perfect everyday example of this idea, isn't it? So what this is all pointing to is the first big idea. Our relationship with our clothes is so much more than just putting on fabric. It's an active, dynamic partnership that, honestly, most of us barely even notice. And that brings us to the central question this research is asking. It's inviting us to completely shift our perspective. What if we stop seeing clothes as just these static things that we put meaning onto, and instead see them as active collaborators that affect us just as much as we affect them? Okay, so let's get into this theory of clothes talking back. And look, this isn't science fiction. It's a concept that's rooted in a really specific idea about how everything in the world interacts with everything else. The key term we need to know is affect. Now, this isn't about feelings or emotions. In this context, affect is simply the capacity that any body has, whether it's you or your jacket, to influence and be influenced by another. It's this mutual exchange of forces. So here's the core difference. The passive view sees clothes as, blank canvases for us to project an image. But this active view, the one we're exploring, sees them as dynamic partners that hold memories, shape our actions, and literally change with us over time. So how on earth do you even test a theory like this? Well, the researcher didn't just write about it. They came up with two really fascinating experiments designed to create a literal dialogue between a person and their clothes. So the first experiment was called dress, as in dress, the verb, the action. And that name is a huge clue because the whole focus was on the physical act of getting dressed. Here's how they did it. The simple, everyday motions of putting on and taking off clothes, they were recorded. Then those movements were translated into lines and shapes, which were used to create completely unique patterns for a series of custom white shirts. And finally, these kind of strange new shirts were just given to people to live in. And the results were so cool. One participant said this: "I only realized the very specific details of the shirt when I ironed it. I could see the details from the artisanal couture. I found it very special." Just think about that for a second. The shirt's unique design, its secrets, were only revealed through the act of caring for it. The relationship got deeper through that simple act of ironing. Okay, now for the second experiment, which was called wear/wear. This one took things even further. It was designed to explore how our relationship with clothes changes over time, with a few surprises built right in. Yeah, the clothes that were given to people in this study, they were not what they seemed. They were actually designed to physically transform, to reveal hidden properties through the simple acts of wearing and washing them. And you have to hear this. Some seams were sewn with a special thread that completely dissolves in water, so parts of the garment would actually come undone. Pockets were made from a fabric that would literally disappear after the first wash. And get this, there were hidden brushstrokes of ink that would suddenly appear, glowing blue, but only when you stepped out into the sunlight. This is such a powerful idea, right? The garment wasn't a finished product you buy off the rack, no way. It was just a starting point. It became something new through its interaction with the wearer and the environment. It was a living, evolving thing. So what does all this really show us? Well, both experiments point to the exact same conclusion. We don't just put clothes on. We build a relationship with them. We learn from them, and they respond to us. And you can see these direct connections so clearly. The strange experimental cuts from the first experiment, they actually sparked creativity, forcing people to adapt how they wore them. The changing materials of the second one made people hyper-aware of their environment, like the sun. Even the simple act of care, like ironing, fostered a much deeper engagement and understanding. The researcher calls this entire dynamic learning through wear. It's this idea that true knowledge of a garment doesn't come from looking at it on a hanger, but from the experience of living with it, wearing it, washing it, adapting to it, and watching it change. So, what does this all mean for us and for the clothes that are hanging in our own closets? Because this research isn't just about some cool experimental fashion, it's really about a whole new way of seeing everything we wear. And this is the key takeaway, right here. Your clothes are not just on you, they are with you. They're not some passive backdrop to your life, they're an active participant in it. They remember the shape of your body, the stress of a long day. They challenge you to adapt, to be creative, to notice your surroundings. They change over time, with every single wash and everywhere. And in this constant dialogue, they are actively shaping who you are and how you move through the world. Which leaves us with one final, fascinating question to think about. Just take a look at what you're wearing right now. If it could talk, what stories would it tell? What memories does it hold? What has it learned about you? That's definitely something to think about.